Now YouTubers, this is just a quick update on a video I did a few weeks ago on Toyota Avensis diesel. Had power issues, and I'll put a link down here somewhere. And this kind of is this is a thing to look at on all diesels. They kind of all give the same sort of problems. They give you a rough idea anyway. Basically, we had no power at all. And the first thing I did, obviously, because the computer told me EGR valve, so we replaced the EGR valve. This is the old one. Now, what's interesting in this one, it wasn't blocked. People say you can clean them. Yeah, 100% you can clean them, no problem. But normally when you know an EGR valve needs cleaning is because it doesn't work at all. It's completely blocked. This was giving us an intermittent fault, so I kind of realised maybe, okay, well, it's not a blocked issue. And as it turns out, the actual diaphragm on the top of this, all these diaphragms here on the top, there's a problem inside there. So anyway, put a new one on. We got power when it was cold, but no power when it was hot. And obviously this is where it gets pretty annoying, because this is now leads to an absolute can of worms. The thing you want to also check before you do any changing on EGR valves is just check all the pipes going from the EGR valve and going all the way to the other parts of the engine. They're all vacuum pipes. Just make sure your vacuum pipes are good, they're not cracked, they're not got any holes in anything, because that will give you the same problem. Make sure the actual plug, there's no loose wire in the plug where it actually connects on the car. You know, make sure it's clipping in properly, because again, if the plug is loose, it'll tell you EGR valve. Well, not necessarily it is. So anyway, we did all that obviously, and then I replaced the EGR valve. We had power when it was cold, no power when it was hot. Nightmare. So I checked absolutely everything, kind of scratching my head, and it was starting to become a bit of a nightmare. So I rang the local Toyota dealer just to see if it's a common problem. And basically, you know, because obviously they'll be having an awful lot more of them cars in than me, and you know, over the years they know more common problems than like a garage like me. And they said, I spoke to one of the mechanics, and he said, oh yeah, it's your turbo pressure sensor. I said, it's not, because he said you get no boost. I said, yeah, but I'm getting no boost when it's hot. I'm getting boost when it's cold. Oh no, it's definitely this. Now this is the turbo pressure sensor. If that was going to zoom in, autofocus. There's just a plug and a vacuum pipe that comes off the back of it. These are over 300 odd euros. These are a ridiculous price. Now, obviously I didn't pay that for it. This is just an old one. I said, look, I don't think that's the problem, and he said, yeah, it is. And then I was thinking, well, looks like I'm going to have to kind of maybe figure this one out myself. So just to keep myself my mind at ease, I bought a second-hand one, which it's very dodgy buying second-hand sensors because they could be bad. Now what I did just to make sure is I disconnected this sensor, and straight away the engine light came on. Now the engine light hadn't came on before this, so remember that, that's important. So if this sensor was bad, the engine light would be on. Anyway, I replaced it. Didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't work. And then I finally decided, okay, again, in one of my other videos I touch upon this, it only happened when it was hot, not when it was cold. So there is a sensor, which is here, which controls when the car gets hot. This sensor basically tells the car, okay, I'm hot, right, let's adjust the fuel and let's adjust the air to meet the temperature of the engine. Now what's very handy, well not so much handy, but what's very interesting about this is when I disconnected this and started the engine light didn't come on. Now that was good, because that really led me to believe it was this, because if the engine light came on and it said when I plugged it in this was the problem, then it's not necessarily. So the engine light, the actual engine light on a 01 Avensis, like most 01's car, they're not that good. The diagnostics isn't, there's only a few things that on the diagnostic. People think diagnostics is a magic tool, it tells you everything. It just doesn't. It'll tell you if a sensor's gone, but that sensor, it could just be a loose wire, it could be 101 things. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it on this video. So it didn't come on, which I thought, okay, that's a good idea. So I replaced this, and I got it new. It was 50 quid, 50 euros, and I got it new. Because again, trying to get second-hand sensors, honestly, absolute nightmare. Put it in, what would you know? Perfect. So that's why I was just an update to tell you that the car came back. Well, not the car didn't come back, sorry, that they had problems and I replaced this. I didn't listen to the Toyota dealer. Just as well I didn't, and just as well I didn't buy a new one of them, because that would have been an absolute killing. So that was the problem. We had an initial problem with the EGR valve, that was a problem. And then we had a problem with this temperature sensor. And that was it. The car, that's a couple of weeks ago now. Car's 100% flying, no problem. So there you go. Hope this helps. Thumbs up the video, subscribe, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one.